Live from the Grenadian capital, this is the GBN television news. GBN, covering you from the Grenadine Island chain to Brooklyn, New York, via the World Wide Web on www.gbn.gd.
The news headlines is brought to you compliments GUT Credit Union.
We are taking pride in outstanding performance. We are encouraging and recognizing innovation. We are committed to continuously doing things better, with enhanced services coming soon. Yes, we are here for you. Check us out today for your financial need. GUT Credit Union, it's where you belong.
This is the GBN television news for Tuesday, the 30th of March, 2021. I'm Chrislyn, Lashington. In the headlines, investigation launched into heated exchange and drawn firearm between police officer and a driver. Attorney at law Jerry Edwin reflects on Guave and Grand Mall police shootings following close call by irate police officer in serial video. Cultural activist accuses police of being unnecessarily threatening towards protesting teachers who were cited for violating COVID-19 regulations. Concerns over increased entry of illegal immigrants. Health officials worry that the new and highly dangerous variant of the coronavirus has surfaced on the island. In Around the Globe, Venezuelan defense minister promises investigation into human rights abuses among refugees, while thousands flee for Thailand from Myanmar. Coming up in sports, Grenada seeks redemption in CONCACAF World Cup qualifiers, and multi-sport coaching program being hosted on the Sister Isles. Details to these and other stories right after this message.
Get high making money moves with the NLA's new Aces High Scratch game with 4 chances to win. Beat the dealer's card to win the prize shown. Reveal an A symbol. And just like that, you are automatically a winner. Scratch away to win the top prize of $10,000. Win easy with Scratch. Must be 18 or older to play.
Good evening. This is GBN's News at 7. A heated argument and a drawn firearm, the two main touch points emanating from a video which has gone viral on social media. GBN's Rena Pear has been seeking answers on this. The police commissioner responded today.
Many are asking themselves, what if, as they review this fiery verbal drama in circulation on social media.
We good, but when it comes to disrespect, I don't take no disrespect. I don't take no disrespect. We good, but I don't come and try to disrespect me. Now I'm trying to tell you, this man, I don't want to touch my vehicle. Don't hold it, don't hold it, don't hold it. Don't touch it, don't touch it. Am I right? Am I right? You don't touch my vehicle. Don't touch it. Not your fight. One fight, your fight. Let me fight now. Treat up your ass yesterday, boy. Wally, watch Wally. You can't shoot me. I don't have no weapon. I don't have no weapon. You can't shoot me. I don't have no weapon. Why you can't shoot me? Why you can't shoot me?
Reports are that the incident happened at Montrose in St. Patrick sometime over the weekend, but those details have not been confirmed. As many viewed the video of the policeman drawing his weapon while other officers present tried to calm him, they asked themselves, what if he did fire a shot from his licensed firearm issued by the Royal Grenada Police Force? Would the vehicle owner or driver been a dead man today? Many drew similarities to incidents at Guave and Fontenoy when 2 athletes were shot and injured by police in separate incidents which occurred several weeks apart. Commissioner of Police Edwin Martin told journalists today that he is aware of the situation and an inquiry has been launched.
I do not want to speak without having all of the facts in the matter, but certainly looking at the video, there are concerns, and I have already directed that an investigation be carried out into what transpires in this particular case so we can treat with the issues appropriately.
As members of the public review the video footage, many have urged the hierarchy of the RRGPF to take urgent steps to ensure that the lawmen exercise self-control even under pressure. For GBN News, I am Rina Pear reporting.
Now, as mentioned in that story, Commissioner of Police Edwin Martin has promised a thorough investigation into the video involving the officer and the civilian, a heated exchange which resulted in the withdrawal and cocking of a gun. Joining us tonight to weigh in on this issue is attorney at law Jerry Edwin. Good evening, Mr. Edwin, and thank you for joining us.
Pleasant good evening to you as well, Ms. Lashington.
After looking at the footage and the level of tension, Mr. Edwin, do you think this was a potential community unrest in the making, similar to what we saw in Guave and Fontenoy?
It certainly seemed as though, Ms. Lashington, it could have escalated to that level, unfortunately. But we must remember that in Guave, the victim there, the athlete, the footballer Jamal Charles, was shot in his home by the police. And in the case of the incident in Grand Mall, the young man there was actually fleeing from the police. I must say, though, that I am stunned by the level of restraint shown by the police officer in this case. I think that protocols have to be put in place when police, especially in the conduct of a search of a motor vehicle, allows a civilian to be within arm's length of police officers who are carrying out their duty. I don't want it to be mistaken. I hold no brief for any illegal and unwarranted conduct carried out by members of the Royal Grenada Police Force or any law enforcement officers. But the officers clearly, from what we have seen with our own eyes, failed to secure the scene. You cannot conduct a search of a motor vehicle and have the owner of that vehicle threatening you with bodily harm. From what I have seen, a civilian has invited a police officer to hand-to-hand combat. I mean, we are in a place where the law and protocol of lawmen should be firmly in place. The civilian surely should be made to understand what he is facing, why his vehicle is being searched. And after that, that civilian ought to be secured, especially where there are two policemen there, so one of them can do their work. I find, and I tell you, I am really surprised. Maybe our people do not know the law. They do not understand the right of policemen. If they determine that there are circumstances that permit a search of a vehicle, they make it clear to the owner of that vehicle, that person is supposed to stand aside and the officers do their work.
Now, the video was quite interesting. I mean, I remember seeing the video for the first time when the gun was cocked. I definitely jumped because I didn't expect that to happen. Would you say that it's possible that police officers need anger management training and training in diffusing potentially explosive situations like this one?
I think retraining of police officers is always a good thing. I think psychological tests of persons who should serve on the force before they are permitted to serve is also a good thing. But I think a civilian who approaches a policeman and invites him to a fight has placed himself in a very dangerous situation. I think the policeman showed tremendous restraint, that the policeman does not know what to expect. The civilian says, "Shoot me." I think that we need to have perhaps some on-air
So would you say the policeman was correct in pulling his gun, or could that situation have gone differently without a gun having to come into play?
I think you would be surprised by my answer. Maybe because I've also served in a military in the military, so I understand. I've served as a military policeman. I think when a civilian approaches a lawman and invites him for a fight, that lawman either runs away, and that's a dereliction of duty, or he does exactly what this policeman does. And as I said, I don't hold any brief. I have cases against policemen for brutality against civilians, and I will prosecute and push those cases, hopefully to a successful conclusion. But a civilian cannot approach a policeman and invite him to a fight. That policeman, in fact, I have a case in St. David's where a young man disarmed the policeman, took his gun, and unknown to that civilian, you had to actually cock the weapon. He did not. He pulled the trigger, pointing it at the policeman more than once. I think that this, from what I have seen, that policeman did exactly what any policeman should have done. In fact, he went further, and he did not fire his weapon. That clearly would have been above the pale. But he had to do something. A civilian is approaching you, and he's inviting you to a fight. You don't know what he may reach into his pocket for. In fact, I think what the policeman did was a defensive move. But I think we need to have some training for people, because I've seen the interaction between civilians and police, and I'm very worried that there's not respect on both sides. Policemen sometimes will just walk up to fellas on the block and just slap them and say, "Where's the marijuana?" Well, that's clearly an assault. And everyone who's hearing me who's had this kind of thing done to them by a policeman ought to go to the Superintendent Cohen's office and make a complaint, or go into any lawyer's office and we'll prosecute a case against the police. What we saw on this video is categorically different. We had a civilian who, in my view, provoked this policeman. And what is the policeman to do? Engage in a fight? Allow the civilian to punch him? I've never seen anything like this. In some other places, that civilian would have been a corpse.
Wow,
so I just
very interesting.
That the police, the RGPF will get on the television, come on GBN, and educate the public about the way they should conduct themselves with police officers when they have to do their job. But from my view, and I know it's probably a surprise, I think this policeman showed tremendous restraint here. This is not the way that civilians ought to interact with lawmen. It's a very dangerous situation.
Wow, Mr. Edwin, thank you so much. Looking forward to more conversations with you, because this is certainly a juicy topic.
Thank you, Miss Lashington, and good night to you.
Thank you so much. Good night, sir. That was Attorney at Law Jerry Edwin talking about the recent situation between the police and a civilian. Moving forward, cultural activist Livingston Nelson has accused the Royal Grenada Police Force of being unnecessarily threatening towards protesters who they say violated COVID-19 regulations. He said as it relates to citizens and government officials, there exists a COVID-19 double standard. He made the comments on GBN's Beyond the Headlines program last night. Trelana Charles has the details.
The Royal Grenada Police Force, in a statement, said that it is concerned that organizations and groups have been participating in demonstrations and similar social activities in direct violation of COVID-19 regulations. On Monday night's Beyond the Headlines, which examined Grenada's economic climate and the tensions created by the 4% salary increase debacle, cultural activist Livingston Nelson labeled the police force's statement as heavy-handed and threatening. Nelson said while he understands the need to abide by the COVID-19 protocols, there seems to be a double standard at play.
What's about the fact that we had a very large funeral in Carrick, and the gathering was huge, as Kenny said? What's about the buses? What's about the fact that you had a regatta organized by the Minister of Carrick Affairs? Did anybody apologize? Was any threat laid that if something like that happened, that the police would ensure that they arrest the guilty ones? What about the fact that the same Minister of Carrick Affairs had a birthday party with a string band, flaunting all the protocols?
He said he can see the similarities of the current tensions between public workers and the government and a revolutionary Grenada.
Why the double standard? Why can't we remain consistent in our application? And for matter of fact, why you have to threaten these citizens in a time like now? So yes, I see a semblance, I see a similarity. I don't think that is necessarily sign. And we all could learn from that era, and the police need to talk and work together with the citizens rather than trying to play heavy-handed and going back to the days of heavy manners. That is not an era we need right now.
Nelson said the police force needs to operate with the citizens with dialogue and understanding, without the need for threats.
It's the same way the police come on the street when they're dealing with vendors. People been vending in one area, and the police come without any notice, without any dialogue, and they just believe that they have to bulldoze the way through. I don't think that is the kind of police force we need in this time. The police force could continue the earlier statement in that they expect the citizens to follow the protocol. I think that is good enough. And, they expect that big people should remain macho and follow without the actual threat.
GBN attempted to reach out to the Minister of Carriacou and Petite Martinique Affairs for a statement on Mr. Nelson's allegations, but was unable to reach her. Trelawna Charles, GBN News.
The Royal Grenada Police Force is concerned about the number of illegal immigrants entering the country. Compared to last year, the numbers have grown significantly. More in this Rena Pear report.
Members of the Royal Grenada Police Force have reported that for the year 2021, 15 illegal immigrants have been arrested on island for unauthorized entry in the country so far. Commissioner of Police Edwin Martin announced on Tuesday that the most recent was last week, where 6 persons in an apartment in Trouble St. George was detained by officers of the Drug Squad and Immigration Department.
For the year thus far, we have interdicted 15 illegal immigrants from entering our state. 7 of those occurred within the last week, and 5 of them will be taken to court this morning. We do not know how many have escaped the law enforcement gaze. We do not know how many might still be circulating within our society, and hence the call for us to continue to exercise vigilance. The fact that we now have 15 persons already for this part of the year, and I should add that for the entire year of 2020, we only had 20 persons coming in illegally. This is the end of the first quarter, and we already have 15.
The ranking officer says during the operation, 5 Venezuelan nationals were arrested.
The recent persons that we intercepted involved 1 Trinidadian and 6 Venezuelans. I cannot say with certainty the method they used to come in, but I strongly believe that it has to do with coming in by boat. We have to be mindful of the fact, colleagues, that we are an island state and our borders are very porous. It would be a fallacy for us to believe that all persons are checked at the airport or the port of entry.
They pleaded guilty for illegal entry. They were all ordered to leave the state of Grenada by the preceding judge. Documents are presently being prepared for their deportation. For GBN News, I am Rena Pear reporting.
Vaccination efforts continue throughout the country, while at the borders, officials try to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. The newest concern is the arrival of the first case of the UK variant of the coronavirus. More in this report from Beverly Tellisford.
Amid its ongoing vaccination drive, Grenada confirms its first case of the UK variant B117 of COVID-19. The individual, Jamaican, is currently in quarantine. This news was confirmed by Chief Medical Officer Dr. Sean Charles during Tuesday's post-cabinet briefing.
This individual entered Grenada a few weeks ago on the 8th, was tested according to our protocol on day 5 after arrival, and of course was confirmed positive with a high viral load. We subsequently sent samples to the Caribbean Public Health Agency, that is CARPHA, for genetic sequencing, because we are cognizant of the fact that as the world faces this third wave for many persons and a fourth for some, that it is largely the variants that are driving these cases. On the 26th of March, that is last Friday, we received the results that the individual had the UK variant, which is the B117.
The CMO says the case has been in isolation since arrival.
This case, however, has remained in isolation since, and is being followed up until we grant public health clearance.
The individual is said to be between 20 to 30 years old and had recently traveled from Jamaica. Scientists first detected the B117 variant of coronavirus in September in the English county of Kent. According to reports, it took almost 3 months before they discovered the Kent variant was 70% more transmissible than existing variants, and several weeks later before discovering it was also much deadlier. The coronavirus has undergone thousands of mutations since its emergence in 2019, but B117 drove a surge in cases that flooded hospitals in the UK and triggered travel bans by dozens of countries. Since the first COVID-19 cases were laboratory confirmed in March 2020, the island has recorded 155 positive cases. Of that number, 1 person has died, and presently only the Jamaican is in isolation, with 386 in quarantine facilities. For GBN News, Beverly Telesford.
This is News at 7. Coming up, Commissioner of Police says false report of tightened curfew hours is an attempt to create panic. Stay with us.
There's a reason we have been here to serve you for the past 40 years. A reason we have continued to grow. A reason we have continued to celebrate. That reason is you. We have been here to help you plan for your future, and here to help you celebrate your achievements. We continue to be here, even when the future seems unclear, because one thing is certain: you're the reason we care.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Need a quick, convenient way to pay your bills and avoid lines? Use the online banking feature from Republic Bank, First Caribbean, or Co-op Bank. Contact them today to set up your online banking and enjoy 24-hour convenience to make your bill payments. Stay safe. Grenlec, we are united even when we are apart. Ridgeway Residences, a modern, exclusive residential community offered by Ariza. Purchase one of our completely built houses or let us build for you by simply choosing your lot, choosing your home design from our selection, and let us do the rest. Owning a home does not have to be a frustrating process. For more information, contact Ariza Credit Union on 415-0994 or send us an email on info@ridgewayresidences.gd. Ridgeway Residences, hassle-free home ownership.
Last year was great.
this year will be better. Data, internet, drinks, groceries, fuel, cooking gas, electricity, savings account, property or vehicle insurance, Hubbard's promotion coming soon.
Introducing Color by Sissons. 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 Color by Sissons.
GBN leads, the others follow. This segment is brought to you by Republic Bank.
There's a reason we have been here to serve you for the past 40 years. A reason we have continued to grow. A reason we have continued to celebrate. That reason is you. We have been here to help you plan for your future and here to help you celebrate your achievements. We continue to be here, even when the future seems unclear. Because one thing is certain, you're the reason we care.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
No change in the nation's curfew, so says Commissioner of Police Edwin Martin, as he cleared the air on rumors circulating on social platforms over the past few days. He said the act is nothing but efforts aimed at creating panic in the country. Rena Pear tells us more.
Police Commissioner Edwin Martin shut down all rumors circulating on social media about a change in the island's curfew. The top cop, who was speaking at government's weekly post-cabinet briefing, said he is not aware of any changes made to the current 12 to 5 a.m. curfew, alluding that the rumors are only there to create fear in citizens.
There is no information to anyone about any issue of change in curfew hours, and I've seen a whole host of those. A lot of creativity was put into those issues, but certainly it only works against us, and it is not a good trend because some people take this seriously, and it instills some measure of fear and apprehension in members of the public. So I want to call on us, please, to let us be more considerate in our actions and use our talent to be more positive and progressive in the things we do.
Commissioner Martin reminded Grenadians that they should only believe information coming from government websites and channels and not from social media. He also cautioned those who are fabricating reports to cease from their actions.
To try to encourage those within our population that seems to take pleasure in spreading a lot of misinformation that scares the public and causes some unnecessary reaction. I think the individuals with those talent can put it to better use to encourage and guide individuals on what really is needed so that we continue to work together and collaborate to the best of our effort to definitely continue to fight this pandemic as we have been doing.
Meanwhile, the members of the Royal Grenada Police Force are preparing for the Easter weekend, as officers will be stationed in popular spots to enforce all COVID-19 protocols.
The RGPF, as part of this effort for the upcoming weekend, will be diligent in scrutinizing applications and requests before us, and we will deploy officers in known hotspots to assist, to monitor and ensure compliance as best as our capabilities as we continue this effort. However, we are fully cognizant, and we do want to remind you, the members of the public, that you remain the most effective mechanism or tool in this fight. And here again, I want to call again for us to adhere to the necessary protocols voluntarily to ensure that we comply with the protocols with a view of ensuring that yourselves and persons you interact with remain safe.
The officer is calling on all Grenadians to keep their guard up and ensure that they are protected. For GBN News, I am Rena Pear reporting.
With approximately 100 female fisherfolk, the formation of a National Women's Fisherfolk Association is in the making. More in this report.
The association, according to a member of the Guelph Fishermen Cooperative Society, seeks to recognize the contribution made by females in a sector that is male-dominated. Though still in its formative stage, the project is expected to run for 1 year and 6 months. Cecil Marquez is a member of the Guelph Fishermen Cooperative Society Limited.
During COVID time, that women played a very, very important part in sustainability, in being involved in the fishing sector, much more than men. The involvement of women has been overlooked. So the idea is to get them, form a group, a women's group in every parish, and then form a national women's fisherfolk organization.
The Center for Environmental and Resource Management from the University of the West Indies is spearheading the project. Marquez says they are hoping to make this the first national women's fisherfolk organization and, by extension, the first in the OECS. He described females in the industry as experts in the field.
The men bring the fish to the shore, and the women are the experts. They have developed that skill and honed that skill over the years, that they could cut a fish and even maximize the amount that could make bigger profits. Okay, the way they slice it, the way they handle it. So they are experts, and I think that they are missing that part of it. So we are really trying to create the awareness more so than anything else.
Mobilization has begun in Guelph and would move throughout the different parishes on island, where he says groups will be formed, leading to the final formation of the National Association. Chrislyn John, GBN News.
Still in the fishing capital of Grenada, rehabilitation of the coastline is one component of a project implemented by GrenCoda. The organization is working in collaboration with the Guelph Fishermen Cooperative Society Limited for the rollout of this and other projects in the parishes of St. John and St. Mark.
The project, titled Building Community Resilience and Ecosystems-Based Adaptation to Climate Change in Selected Communities along the west coast of Grenada, creating what may be described as a pristine environment for fishermen in the fishing mecca of Grenada, Guelph, a massive underwater cleanup has taken place. Ian Roberts is the project manager with GrenCoda.
Now, over the years, since casting net has been around since Jesus Christ, okay, it also means that pollution and garbage has been thrown in the water in the same area where the fishermen pull their nets. So their nets get damaged by debris that has been thrown in the ocean for decades. So one of the activities that we have in this project is a coastal rehabilitation of the coastline in the Bay Area in Guelph. So in Guelph right now, we just underwent a major cleanup.
Speaks on the watershed hotspots assessment, another aspect of the project which will see the assessment of 3 main rivers in St. John and St. Mark.
In addition, we have another activity which is called a coral nursery and artificial reef and bio-rock installation, whereby we would be encouraging the growth of the natural environment and developing the marine ecosystem so that marine life can thrive. And then with the marine life being affected by what comes through the rivers, if we have pollution on land, we will have pollution in the marine ecosystem. So one of the other activities that we're doing is to identify what is called watershed hotspots, areas along the river where they're probably dumping garbage. Maybe people have pig pens too close to the river, so the waste is going in the river, so the people downstream think they're getting clean water, and they may not. And then we have what is called a riparian zone assessment. and rehabilitation, whereby we're not just doing the assessment to determine what is wrong, but we're following up with the rehabilitation and education of the people that live on the banks of the river.
The project officially started in 2020, but was put on hold through the COVID-19 pandemic. This is a project of the Caribbean Biodiversity Fund, co-financed by the International Climate Initiative, the IKI, of the German Federal Ministry for Environment, Nature Conservation and Nuclear Safety through KfW. Chrislyn John, GBN News.
And now we turn our attention to what has been creating a buzz on social media. Let's take a look at what's been buzzing on social media.
This is Social Buzz, where we shine a light on the thoughts and concerns of our online audience. In a statement released by the government of Grenada, it was revealed that Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell will give a national address on Wednesday, 31st March at 8 p.m. With no information given on the topics that will be covered, our online audience took to the comment section to share what they think the Prime Minister will have to say. Henry commented, "We all say the government did a good job with the COVID, so they will continue with the curfew because that's their only strategy. He will make an appeal to the teachers and curse them at the same time." Another individual said everyone from Grenada who lives in the U.S. will have to be vaccinated before coming to Grenada. I bet. Marilyn said she thinks he will say the same old, maybe now in Spanish or Chinese. Ryan commented, "I think he will make a speech on the blueprint from China. The act of selling out Grenada, making us people's slaves again. Backward ever, forward never." Kay wrote, "I just want to know if we still have curfew and for what? Because there's no COVID other than those in isolation. What's the real reason behind the curfew?" Erica thinks there will be a curfew up to the 11th of April, 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. But I see no need for it. It is time to give people their freedom on island to continue to control the imported COVID here. The people need to activate their social lives. And this individual said, "We Grenadians does really call thing. The man probably coming to lift the regulations or even say I ain't paying 4%, but I'll pay 10%. But we saying lockdown. Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery, na man." That's it for tonight's Social Buzz. If you would like to have your thoughts and concerns shared, be sure to comment on GBN's Facebook page.
Bob Marley made it into there, boy. From the thought process to the visual impact, let's take a peek through the GBN ISAW lens.
A good eye captures all. GBN ISAW is brought to you by ClearVision.
Life is beautiful if only you can see it. ClearVision Eye Center helps you do just that. We provide expert service, classy eyewear, and cutting-edge technology, all with a quality customer experience. See better, feel better, and look better. Meet us today at clearvisiongrenada.com or call 444-0055, WhatsApp 409-0055, or follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. ClearVision Eye Center. Let's see life and the world with a clear vision.
Tonight's ISAW features the staff members of the Grenada Meteorological Services participating in a cleanup drive of Devil's Bay Beach in the south of the island on Friday, March 26th. This was part of activities to celebrate World Meteorological Day on the 23rd of March under the theme, The Ocean, Our Climate and Weather. 15 bags of garbage were collected. Send us your photo and video submissions via WhatsApp on 405-3052 or our other social media platforms.
Still ahead, new NADMA facilities near completion. This is News at 7.
A message by the Grenada Distillers Limited.
You want a hand sanitizer to do 3 things: kill germs, be gentle, and to go where you go. You can get all of that in our hand sanitizer. Hard on germs, gentle on hands, affordable. Remember, hand sanitizers contain alcohol. Keep away from heat and flames and avoid contact with eyes. Available at retailers island-wide.
A message by the Grenada Distillers Limited.
Running low on groceries? Why not visit realvalueiga.com and experience our new online shopping platform? Place your order, then go out and enjoy your day to spend more time with friends and family. Delivery available within select locations or in-store pickup available. Sounds simple, right? It is. Stress less, live more with Real Value IGA online store, where good food begins.
How going on, boy?
Hey, good old things.
Hey, easy.
Yeah.
Boy, in line, boy. Your house looking a real good day.
Boy, it's thanks to the hard-working and professional staff at the Housing Authority of Grenada. They handled me real nice. They did my plan, they did the construction, and I didn't even have to worry about a thing. They were there with me every step of it, supervising the job, asking me about my concerns, giving me feedback as the house took shape. They were there from start to finish, and even put the keys in the palm of my hand. I give them an A++ for customer service.
Oh, it's people from housing bad, boy.
Boy, not bad. Excellent. If you're thinking about constructing your home, why not consult the Housing Authority of Grenada? You could visit them right down in the Sandino complex, or give them a call, 440-1015 or 440-1016. Or check out their website, hag473.com. They go handle you. They go jog your blocks, they go draw your plan, they go tote your materials. Hey man, where you going? The Housing Authority of Grenada is your choice for affordable housing and a stress-free construction experience.
Last year was great. This year will be better. Data, internet, drinks, groceries, fuel, cooking gas, electricity, savings account, property or vehicle insurance, Hubbard's promotion coming soon.
The new National Disaster Management Agency, NADMA's new facilities in Grenada and Carriacou will soon be opened as they draw closer to completion. Public Relations Officer at NADMA, Oslin Crosby, tells us more in this report.
The new headquarters and warehouse of the National Disaster Management Agency, NADMA, both on the mainland and on the sister isle, is nearing completion and will soon be officially commissioned. The over $6 million project, funded under the U.S. Southern Command Humanitarian Fund, forms part of the U.S. government's commitment to assist Caribbean allies in building resilience against disasters. During a recent tour of the facility with the U.S. Charge d'Affaires Carl Duckworth, he highlighted the benefits of this new addition to disaster management in Grenada.
It'll be a central location for all emergency response. Number 2, it will be a communication hub for not only Grenada, but the region and internationally as well. And then 3rd, it'll be a place where we can direct resources as appropriate.
Sharing his impressions of what he saw, the U.S. principal officer in Grenada compared the facilities to those in the U.S. comparative value, which illustrates the significant boost the facility will bring to the country.
I have to say, as I walk through the facility, it is a fantastic facility, and I've been in many emergency operations centers in my time, both with the U.S. Department of State and the U.S. Air Force, and this is a fantastic facility. It blows away many other facilities I've been in and worked in. I think it's going to be a really boost to the way that Grenada responds to natural disasters and other kinds of incidents.
Location was critical in the initial plan for this building.
Well, a large consideration, at least from a U.S. perspective and from a Grenadian perspective, is that because this will be the central facility for all emergency response, it has to be able to survive and safely for all concerned any kind of natural disaster. So we wanted to ensure that everything was thought about: flooding, lightning, etc.
Upon completion, the new building building located in Montjaloux, the site of the old television station, will be the National Disaster Office, which will house the daily operations of the Secretariat. Disaster Coordinator Mr. Benedict Peters, speaking on the new structure, in expressing his gratitude, is hoping that with the new structure comes a shift in thought by people to disaster management.
Having the building is good. I mean, looking at the structure, it gives a good feeling that you'll be able to survive fairly severe hurricane season based on how it is structured. But I think the strength of disaster management is with the people. And I would like to see the reconstruction, reorganizing, rethinking of a new mindset, like a new building, a new mindset where persons get on board. But as I said, they have to understand that there is a risk. They have to be able to assess the risk and believe that they are at risk to actually take action.
As construction. From the PR unit at the National Disaster Management Agency, I'm Orselyn Crosby.
The National Water and Sewerage Authority, NWASA, responded to claims made on social media recently by a woman stating the water company had caused damage to her property through one of its tanks. The post has since been removed. However, the company issued a response on Monday.
NWASA has had sight of the recent postings in relation to the La Pastora tank and an allegation that the damage to her home was as a result of the operations of the NWASA tank. NWASA is extremely disappointed with the actions of Ms. Daniel, having regard to the fact that there were discussions with her legal counsel in relation to her allegations. NWASA first responded on October 7, 2020, the very said day the allegations were raised by Ms. Daniel. Our engineering department has conducted a thorough analysis of the situation and her claims and have concluded as follows. 1. Ms. Daniel's house is located on a steep slope, approximately 15 feet downhill from an undeveloped allowed road. This road does not service the NWASA tank site, nor is NWASA responsible in any way for the maintenance of this road. 2. Rainwater from the hillside runs down a natural course through the area occupied by Ms. Daniel. This problem is worsened by the walkway that Ms. Daniel has constructed to her house, which acts as a natural water course from the undeveloped allowed road, providing, unfortunately, a drainage channel for rainwater to use to make its way directly onto her house from the adjacent hillside. 3. NWASA's storage tank was constructed 18 years ago and is approximately 50 feet from the area Ms. Daniel occupies. Absolutely no overflow from the tank can affect Ms. Daniel's property.
Stay with us. Sports is up next.
We support you at every stage of your life.
For business,
for your education,
for your financial freedom,
for that new ride.
Upgrade your life with the Communal. Contact us today.
Do you know what time it is? You guessed right, it's detox time again. At Nirvana Natural Health Clinic, Detox Center and Natural Health Store. Purchase our 7-day cleansing pack for only $500. Includes everything you need for a complete total body cleanse. Cleanse your blood, kidney, liver, and colon. This cleanse will help you lighten up and get rid of the excess. Also available are our special product Detox Combo Pack for only $100. $20. Try our single detox products starting from $40. Check us out now. Belmont St. George's, close to the Fall Edge area, or call us on 231-6642, 449-7753, or 418-7115. Nirvana Natural Health Clinic, Detox Center, and Natural Health Store. Detox, your way to health.
Keeping an eye on the weather. This is GBN. We've got you covered.
Let's look at this evening's weather. Partly cloudy and windy with light to moderate showers by early morning. There are no warnings at this time. Tonight's minimum temperature 24 degrees Celsius. Winds east-northeasterly at 10 to 20 miles per hour, gusting higher at times. Seas moderate to rough with waves up to 9 feet in northerly swells. There is a marine advisory in effect. Tides are low at 11 p.m. and high at 4:45 a.m. Looking forward to this week's weather forecast. Wednesday, sunrise is at 5 minutes past 6 in the morning and sunset at 19 minutes past 6 in the evening. Wednesday's weather is expected to be partly cloudy to cloudy and windy with occasional light to moderate showers. On Thursday, partly cloudy and windy with isolated morning showers, improving during the afternoon. And on Friday, Good Friday, mostly fair, becoming partly cloudy at times with brief isolated showers, mainly overnight. That's it for your weather forecast right here on GBN News. It's game day as Grenada takes on the U.S. Virgin Islands at the Karani James Athletic Stadium in the CONCACAF World Cup qualifying for Qatar 2022. In the Group A matchup, Jamal Charles, Carlton Belma and Leon Braveboy will look to spark the Grenada attack after being held scoreless by El Salvador, though USVI defenders Dusty Good and Joshua Ramos will have something to say about that.
A bit of both. We're definitely in it to try to qualify. There's no doubt about that. But it's just a hand that we've been dealt based on who we thought was best fit for what we were trying to accomplish. Obviously, we have some other older players that, unfortunately, due to protocols, weren't able to leave their countries. We have college players that are playing that weren't released. So, some changes due to those type of scenarios.
Grenada's head coach Michael Findlay says they are aiming to rebound from the defeat to El Salvador while also encountering some of the difficulties due to COVID-19.
Expectations are always we do well. We play, as we say in the past, we play football to win. So just as my counterpart said that they're there for a victory, we also are there for a victory. But these are new days in CONCACAF, and taking into consideration all of the challenges that each of the teams experience in CONCACAF due to global pandemic and travel restrictions, lack of opportunities to prepare, all of those. Everyone is sort of in the same boat, as they say. And, we need to take this game very seriously, and we need to apply ourselves. And, we hope for a very good performance, number one, as we also are in a process of transition.
The match should be ongoing as Grenada, who is currently 4th place in Group A, take a 5th place USVI. The Division of Sports in the Ministry of Carriacou and Petit Martinique Affairs and Local Government is facilitating an 8-day Easter holiday recreational sports coaching program to revive sporting engagement for young people on the sister islands. The program scheduled from Monday, March 29th to Tuesday, April 6th at the Hillsborough Playing Field, the Hillsborough Tennis Court, and the Hillsborough Community Center will simultaneously engage 8 to 12-year-old students at the grassroots level in sporting disciplines such as athletics, boxing, netball, and cricket.
Because we realize that the young people have been restricted of their sporting engagement, and so knowing that Easter holiday is approaching, we felt that we must take the opportunity to engage them in whatever recreational coaching discipline, in the various disciplines, to ensure that we have a sustainability in terms of the various sports, remain active among the young people.
Senior coach in the Ministry of Carriacou and Petit Martinique Affairs and Local Government, Sebastian Steele, said the Easter holidays provide an opportunity to engage young sporting enthusiasts in Carriacou who have been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic.
We're looking to do the kiddies cricket coaching because the foundation, the grassroots, is fundamental and is the key to the development of cricket. We're looking at netball. We want to do the netball program for the young primary school children. Once again, it's a start and it's a foundation process. We also do athletics, both track and field. And we want to give them the exposure both on the track and on the field. So the coaches will work on basic fundamental techniques on track and also in the field events throws.
The program will be facilitated under adherence to the Ministry of Health's COVID-19 protocols. West Indies captain Craig Brathwaite batted through the day for an invaluable 99 not out as the team reached 287 for 7 at the close of play on the opening day of the second and final Sandoz Test against Sri Lanka at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium in Antigua on Monday. He ended on 126 as West Indies put on 354 all out at the lunchtime interval on day 2.
A landmark of the highest order for Craig Brathwaite. Test century number 9, he becomes the 18th West Indies Test captain to score one.
A well-deserved 100 by Craig Brathwaite. Coach Phil Simmons and the rest of the squad deliberated and applauded him. So too, Raheem Cornwall, his batting partner. But he batted the entire day yesterday, went in at 9-9, and is a sign of relief.
Brathwaite and Raheem Cornwall struck an 8-wicket partnership of 103, with Cornwall contributing 73 runs. That's it for sports around the globe. Up next. Some 3,000 people from Myanmar's southeastern Karen state fled to neighboring Thailand after the military bombed an area held by an ethnic armed group as Western countries condemned the escalating violence in the troubled Southeast Asian nation. The military launched air raids on 5 areas in Mutra district near the eastern border, including a displacement camp, the Karen's women's organization said on Sunday. Al Jazeera's Tony Chang reports.
Ethnic Karen villagers hiding in the jungle after jets attacked their homes overnight. Thousands fled after Myanmar's Air Force launched a series of attacks at the weekend that left several people dead. Many are now too scared to return, fleeing across the border into Thailand.
Last night we were not aware that the jet fighters were coming, and they randomly bombed all of a sudden and then left. Late at night the jets came again, and afterwards we heard gunshots. We heard that the jets will come again.
Thailand has tightened border security in expectation of a flow of refugees from Myanmar. But as violence has flared in the cities and border areas over the past week, authorities fear that could become a flood.
How many refugees are expected? We have prepared an area for them to stay first after they cross over. We can talk about the numbers later. We are not going to talk about permanent shelter yet. We are not there yet.
Myanmar's ethnic armed groups have long feared attack from the air. Their basic weaponry is eclipsed by a professional armed force with high tech from China and Russia. And now it seems they have the ability to attack at night. And it's not a fair fight elsewhere either. Protesters on the streets of Yangon, defending their homes from the security services, facing soldiers armed with machine guns, with bows and arrows, like David facing Goliath. Tony Cheng, Al Jazeera.
Thousands of Venezuelans have fled to Colombia since their country's army began fighting what it said were Colombian armed groups along the border between the two countries. The refugees say Venezuelan soldiers have killed innocent civilians, accusing them of being rebel fighters. Venezuela's Defense Minister Vladimir Padrino said the armed forces were obliged to defend the country from irregular groups, but that human rights must be respected and that the events at the border would be investigated. Al Jazeera's Alessandro Rampietti reports from the border town of Arauquita in Colombia.
For the Ramirez and Remolina families, the pain is unbearable. Four of their relatives were killed last week during a military operation ordered by the Venezuelan government. Security forces accused them of being part of a Colombian rebel group and said they died in combat. But neighbors and family members insist they were innocent, taken from their homes and executed.
I was looking out for my brothers. I saw them in their house and gestured to them, then ran back into my home because soldiers were threatening people. That's when I heard an armored vehicle stopping in front of their house.
Neighbors saw how soldiers took them away, so she ran out again.
I told the other soldiers they took my family. They said go home, that I didn't need to worry, that they were taking them to the battalion for questioning before returning them home.
Instead, they reappeared in pictures circulating on social networks, dead, some dressed in fatigues, with pistols or a grenade at the side of their body.
Anybody who knows my sister-in-law will tell you she hated boots. She never wore boots like those. You don't need to be a forensic expert to know that this was staged.
Many of the almost 5,000 refugees who fled the clashes share similar stories, accusing the military of illegal detentions as well as looting and burning homes. Under pressure, Venezuela's Defense Minister Vladimir Padrino said the armed forces were obliged to defend the country from irregular groups, but added that human rights needed to be respected and that the events at the border would be investigated. But Venezuela's former prosecutor general, now an opposer of President Nicolás Maduro, told Al Jazeera that will likely not be the case.
There is no type of accountability today in Venezuela, nor any institution that investigates. Look at how the prosecutor's office, controlled by the usurpers, took 5 days before announcing they were going to investigate the events at the border. Such serious facts should be investigated immediately.
Like countless other Colombians from this border region, the Ramirez had fled to Venezuela over a decade ago at the height of the conflict between guerrillas and state forces in the country. But now the same kind of violence seems to have reached them on the other side of the border. Alessandro Rampietti, Al Jazeera, Arauquita.
That's it for Around the Globe. A recap of the headlines next. And now, a recap of this evening's headlines. Police Commissioner promises investigation into a heated exchange between a police officer and a civilian, which resulted in a withdrawn firearm. Attorney-at-Law Jerry Edwin joined us tonight to weigh in on that situation. RGPF accused by cultural activists of being unnecessarily threatening toward protesters. They say violated COVID-19 regulations. Concerns raised over the increase in illegal immigrants coming into the country. In around the globe, thousands flee from Thailand from Myanmar, while Venezuelan defense minister promises investigation into human rights among refugees. In sports, Grenada seeks redemption in CONCACAF World Cup qualifiers. If you missed any parts of this newscast, a repeat of it will be broadcast at 10 o'clock tonight. Continue to follow us online at www.gbn.gd or on GBN Television's Facebook page and YouTube channel for these and other top stories. I'm Chrislyn Lashington. That's the news. We'll see you again. Good night.